Those who find it are few. Oh my goodness, that could cause you to worry. And I think our Lord gets our attention with these words from the Sermon on the Mount by telling us to try to enter through the narrow gate, to try to enter into heaven, which suggests that it's going to take effort to get into heaven on our own part, deliberate effort, and that there will be a crowd at that gate, and not everybody gets through that gate. Few people find it. And the apostles had heard these words of Jesus on a number of occasions, and on one occasion they said to Jesus, well, how many are going to be saved? That's a $64,000 question. And at least in the scriptures, Jesus never gave a straight answer. He often replied with a riddle and let them figure it out, like enter the narrow gate, because he was a very wise teacher. Imagine if Jesus had responded to that question. Well, folks, I got bad news for you. I know my Father very well, and I think maybe 1% make it to heaven. Well, I don't know what you would do if you heard that. If I heard that, I'm thinking, well, I don't have a chance, so why even bother? Or let's say Jesus said, hey, actually, I have good news. My Father is always in a good mood. 99% make it to heaven. And you think, okay, well, I'm clearly in that group. Why bother? And Jesus doesn't say that. He says, try to enter through the narrow gate. Make that effort to get into heaven. So what does it take to be saved? What does the Catholic Church teach us that we need to do or be to be saved? Well, we need to believe that Jesus Christ is God. You do, because you wouldn't be here if you didn't believe Jesus Christ is God. You've been baptized. Now, how about all those people who don't know about Jesus Christ? Can they be saved? Yes, if they live their life seeking to do good and avoiding evil, and if through no fault of their own they don't believe in Jesus Christ, but still they would be saved through the merits of Jesus Christ on the cross. That's what it means that outside of the church there is no salvation, that everybody who does get saved, whether they know it or not, are saved through the merits of Jesus Christ through the church. The other point here is when we die, we need to be in the state of grace. How do you know for sure if you're in the state of grace? Well, we were thinking of creating an app at Relevant Radio on your phone that you could turn on and go, green light, I am in the state of grace. Wouldn't that be great? Well, there's no such app. All right, it's a little bit of a mystery there. All we can try to do is, if we're conscious of a mortal sin, go to confession, tell Jesus we're sorry. If you don't have a chance to get to confession, you try to make a perfect act of contrition. But that's why life is so exciting, because you don't really know what's going to happen. And that's why we're always turning to our Lord. Another point here. My last year before I came to Relevant Radio, I was chaplain at a boys' school here in Chicago called Northridge Prep. And I was asked to teach 8th graders religion in spring semester because the other teacher, I think he gave up. And I don't know if you know anything about 8th graders, boys. They're like, they have no brain for about a year. And you got to be really prepared for them. But they love competition. And they like to reenact Bible scenes. I said, okay, we're going to have the Bible scene of the boy who rolls around in the fire and foams at the mouth. Who wants to do that one? Oh, they all raise their hand. They want to act out that kid, right? All right, let's do the one about Jesus walking on the water and Peter getting out of the boat and he falls in the water. Who wants to be Peter? Oh, they all want to be Peter. And they fall on the ground and we laugh and all the rest. All right, who wants to be Lazarus rising from the dead, kind of the night of the living dead, all right? They like that one. But when it came to the narrow gate, that was a lot of fun. And we're going to reenact the narrow gate. All right, one guy stands on this side of the door and two guys on the other side of the door trying to keep it closed. See if he can get in. And they're pushing, like he can't get in. Like, well, how do we ever get in? Well, you got to change the odds. If it's you against two, you're never going to win. But you need to pack it. You need to get Our Lady on your side and St. Joseph and your guardian angel, and you got to push that right through. And they get Jesus on your side, and you will get through that. The point there is to remember it does take effort. Now, I don't want to discourage you by giving you that image that it's you against two pushing on that door to get into heaven. Because there's a great story in the Bible. It's the day that Jesus dies. And it's a good thief turns to Jesus and says, Lord, Would you remember me when you come into your kingdom? And that's all it took. That humble plea for mercy. And that day he was raised to heaven.